Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, I don't want to live in a world where you can't question things. I don't want to live in a world where the powerful few at the top, the elitist class, gets to decide what's appropriate and what isn't. Or I guess in this case, what's treasonous and what isn't. I don't ever want to live in a world where decisions are made for me, or where narratives are forced. You know why? Because that world actually has a name. It's called fascism. And once again, the supposed anti-fascist left shows their true colors. They're big government, top-down, authoritarian goons who simply enforce the propaganda, enforce the narrative. I don't know about you guys, but I'm immediately skeptical. If a narrative needs to be forced, then automatically I have some very serious questions. Well, apparently, according to the mainstream leftist media, you're not allowed to ask questions. You're not allowed to disobey. Even if a war hasn't been declared, if the establishment's interest is in promoting a proxy war, you have to obey, or according to them, you should be arrested. Yep, not hyperbole, not exaggerating. Many characters in the media are now calling for Elon Musk to be arrested or to be charged, or I guess to be forced to comply because he simply decided to step away from the conflict happening between Russia and Ukraine. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. Let's take a look at what the media is saying. Elon Musk's response, of course, I'll chime in. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, I wasn't kidding. I wasn't exaggerating. Media figures are big mad that Elon Musk, a private citizen running a private company, isn't doing the Pentagon's bidding. Take a look at this interaction between Anthony Blinken and Jake Tapper.
So SpaceX CEO Elon Musk has recently confirmed a report that's in Walter Isaacson's new biography of Musk that last year Musk blocked access to his Starlink satellite network in Crimea in order to disrupt a major Ukrainian attack on the Russian Navy there. In other words, Musk effectively sabotaged a military operation by Ukraine, a U.S. ally, against Russia, an aggressor country that invaded a U.S. ally. Should there be repercussions for that?
Jake, I can't speak to a specific episode. Here's what I can tell you. Starlink has been a vital tool for the Ukrainians to be able to communicate with each other, and particularly for the military to communicate in their effort to defend all of Ukraine's territory. It remains so, and I would expect it to continue to be critical to their efforts. So what we would hope and expect is that that technology will remain fully available to the Ukrainians. It is vital to what they're doing.
I don't know that you can't speak to it. You won't speak to it. Musk says he was reportedly afraid that Russia would retaliate with nuclear weapons. Musk says that's based on his private discussions he had with senior Russian officials. Are you concerned that Musk is apparently conducting his own diplomatic outreach to the Russian government? Really, none of this concerns you?
Jake, I can't speak to conversations that may or may not have happened. I don't know. I'm focused on the fact that the technology itself, Starlink, has been really important to the Ukrainians. It remains so. And it should continue to be part of what they're able to call on to be able to communicate with themselves, and again, to have the military be able to communicate. Throughout this Russian aggression, we ourselves have always had to factor in what Russia may do in response to any given thing that we or others do or the Ukrainians do, and we have. But what's so critical now is that Ukraine has had real success over the past year. Starlink is an important part of their success, and as I said, we expect that it will continue to be so.
It sounds like Starlink's so important the U.S. government doesn't want to risk offending a capricious billionaire who did some things that I think in another situation the U.S. government might want to say something about, but let's move on.
Now, I know that Jake Tapper didn't say that Elon Musk should be arrested, but the way that he framed the question, I mean, you could clearly tell that he is outraged. You could tell that that's what he believes, and you can tell that he's essentially pressing the administration to go after Elon. I think the last quote really puts it into perspective. It sounds like Starlink is so important that the US government doesn't want to risk offending a capricious billionaire. He's obviously implying that Elon Musk somehow is a traitor, working for the Russians, sabotaging sabotaging American military interest and that he should face consequences for his actions. The media in 2023. This guy's got his head shoved so far up his own behind. It's unbelievable. You know, these media figures act like they're all-knowing, all-intelligent, the most honest, the most knowledgeable. But I mean, give me a break. Jake Tapper doesn't know what the heck he's talking about. He's presenting this narrative in the only way that he knows how, simply pushing the globalist narrative that Elon Musk committed evil by stopping an attack on Russia, claims Ukrainian official. Elon Musk ordered Starlink to be turned off during Ukrainian offensive, book says. Jake Tapper then feigns outrage, then indirectly calls for Elon Musk to face repercussions, taking this stance without even informing himself on the other side of the story. Because of course, as you know, in the modern day, the best way to understand a news story, the best way to understand a story in general, is to simply read a mainstream media headline and formulate your opinion right there. Yeah, right. Walter Isaacson writes on Twitter, to clarify on the Starlink issue, the Ukrainians thought coverage was enabled all the way to Crimea, but it was not. They asked Musk to enable it for their drone sub-attack on a Russian fleet. Musk did not enable it because he thought, probably correctly, that would cause a major war. Elon Musk then responds, much appreciated, Walter. The onus is meaningfully different if I refuse to act upon a request from Ukraine versus made a deliberate change to Starlink to thwart Ukraine. At no point did I or anyone at SpaceX promise coverage over Crimea. Moreover, our terms of service clearly prohibit Starlink for offensive military action, as we are a civilian system. So they were again asking for something that was expressly prohibited. SpaceX is building Starshield for the US government, which is similar to but much smaller than Starlink, as it will not have to handle millions of users. That system will be owned and controlled by the US government. He followed up by saying, I am a citizen of the United States and have only that passport. No matter what happens, I will fight for and die in America. The United States Congress has not declared war on Russia. If anyone is treasonous, it is those who call me such. Please tell them that very clearly. You know, it's crazy because you turn on CNN expecting to be informed, expecting to learn something, yet this is what you get. Ukraine shill globalist narratives shoved down your throat. In what world, in what universe should the standard be that you as a private citizen running a private company, a civilian company, you're not a military contractor, you're not a mercenary group, you're not running a wing of the US military, you're just a regular citizen running a citizen company, in what universe should you be expected to take aggressive military action in a war that hasn't even been declared? Look, whatever world that is, if that world exists, I don't want to be a part of it. And I don't blame Elon Musk for not wanting to be a part of it. I mean, it was enough for him to set up Starlink in Ukraine in the first place, but he explicitly and purposely refused to set up the network within the actual conflict zone. The Ukrainians, according to Elon Musk, repeatedly ask him to do things that are explicitly prohibited as a private civilian corporation, and him standing by that basic ethical standard apparently is so egregious, so awful, so treasonous, that the warmongering shills are now calling for Elon Musk to face repercussions, many people calling for his arrest, for him to be treated as a traitor. Make it make sense, folks. You can't because it doesn't make sense. It's wartime propaganda, except it's even worse, because again, a war has never been officially declared. Yet without a war even being voted on, we're expected to fall in line, do the Pentagon's bidding without question, and if you do question, I mean if you simply question or if you don't comply by enabling their offensive moves, well, that's the whole point of this video, right? We covered the reaction. I simply don't understand the people who buy into this crap and have no ability to challenge or question authority or mainstream narratives. I think Elon Musk's actions were not only right, they were justified, and I stand by him 100%. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and maybe subscribe if you're up for it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.